All right, so today we're gonna talk about boundaries. Since moving to Boston, it has been tough. I have gone through a lot of different emotions, positive, negative, very negative, a lot of lows. And I think a lot of that came from me not knowing what I wanted, what I needed, and kind of how to navigate that moving forward. So that is what this video is going to be all about, what I have learned in my 7 months since moving here in regard to boundaries. So to begin, I think the biggest thing about boundaries is that other people can't follow them or respect them if you don't voice them. So if you don't tell someone something about yourself that is important to you and you don't kind of like draw that line, other people won't really know that line exists. Now you might think, oh, well, that's like human decency, or that's like common knowledge or common sense. One thing that my parents taught me is that common sense is not all that common. So you really do need to take a second, figure out what you need, even if you think it's pretty basic, and make sure that you're voicing that with the people around you. I think that this is incredibly important in relationships, especially with your romantic partners, overall friendships and platonic relationships, just to make sure that you are getting and giving the support that you and the other person need and want in that relationship if you want it to be healthy and sustainable. And then also in the workplace. So one thing that was really tricky for me was figuring out the fine line between who am I in this space and what do I need to do to be my best self and look like my best self to other people? But also at the same time, is that healthy for me? And when do I need to pull back so that I can take better care of myself? Even though some of us want to do it all, I am definitely one of those people that like want to do everything. I want to say yes. I am definitely a yes person. But I can't always be my best if I'm always saying yes. I can't always take care of myself my best if I'm telling everyone, of course, yes, I can do that for sure, like no problem. And kind of along those lines is actually accepting and taking help, and accepting and taking when people offer you things as like a thank you for something that you did. It is okay to accept gifts. I am a big gift giver. And anytime someone wants to give me something, I'm like, no. And I'm like, Brooke, if you were that person, you would want yourself to accept this. Or you would want, the receiving person to accept this gift or whatever, accept whatever this is. And kind of thinking about it from that lens has helped me a lot, because it's like, I'm not saying I necessarily always deserve these things, but it's like, well, you help them out and they want to, give you something back in return, you deserve that. You can take that, and that's okay. And life is not always going to be an even playing field. Everything is not going to be fair all the time. Something that has also been a big, I wouldn't say issue, but something that I'm working on is the fact that I'm in this for the long run. So nothing that I do today is going to make or break my PhD experience. Me running myself into the ground and throwing myself into whatever I possibly can get my hands dirty in today isn't going to make or break me graduating from this university. And I have to remind myself that because it is such a long, like people say, it's a marathon, not a sprint, I need to make sure that I am practicing sustainable daily habits that will allow for me to do this for the next couple of years. And if I can't, then it's not going to work. And I don't want to pull out of my program. I would love to finish my program. But if I keep saying yes to everything around me, whether it be work or activities that I don't really want to do, I'm not going to be okay in the long run. Maybe even the short term, I might not be okay. So as of now, that has been a lot of where my focus is at. For anyone who has recently moved, maybe you feel some of those feelings. But I think a lot of it stems from me, multiple different places, but mostly me wanting to prove myself in this new space. But at the same time, I can't give someone else my best if I'm not at my best. And so something that kind of helps bring me back to earth is just reminding myself about my sisters, and how I always want to be there for them, and how I always want to give them the best advice that I could give them. But if I myself am a hot mess, I probably can't give very good advice. So in even like the simplest terms like that with my sisters, I want to make sure that I'm showing up as, present as I can possibly be for them. But I won't be able to do that if I'm not taking care of myself and putting myself first. So actually, by putting myself first, I am being even more respectful and showing up in even better ways for other people in my life that I want to. And it'll all just look a lot better. And throughout all of this, voicing all of this, and that's why I'm also making this video, to everyone that I care about and to everyone who this is affecting, is really important, because if I'm working through something and other people don't know, they might be confused why I'm oversharing and telling them random things about myself and like telling them when I have to leave. But me oversharing is me like extensively, excessively sharing my boundaries so that everyone knows, so that there's absolutely no question. And through that, people don't ask me to stay, until 6:30 anymore. And people know that, oh, Brooke does her work in the morning, yada, yada. And so people, throughout my oversharing, it has been a way for people to learn about my boundaries, and respect them. Because like I said, if you don't share them, people don't know them. So I would, if you're going to leave with like one thing from this video, self-reflection is a big one that I have been working on, and figuring out what I need and how do I make that happen. But also just voicing where you're at with people and where you're at with what you need and what you want. Putting it out there, saying it out loud has been tremendously helpful for me, from navigating through different experiences. And also it's allowed for people to know where I'm at so that they can also chime in if they have anything that's helpful. And I've really appreciated that. So that's my 6 to 7 month Boston recap. I'll check in with you in a couple weeks. Thanks for joining. Bye.